hometown. That's what we want, isn't it?
And there's many people who have been here to show the support, especially Reverend Liu and Reverend Gwen, and even Mr. Randy West, the general editor of the Korean Democrats newspaper. In the form, we may have a difference, but in the sense, in the mind, we're the same. In Buddhist tradition, we say that we see the man as our brother or our father. We see the woman as our sister, our mother. Last time we had the interfaith service and the discussion at Revenue Church, and we discussed about the compassion. I present the Buddhist point of view that all of us in one family. So there's no need for us to have doubts or fight each other, because we are family members. So we need to build up our communication and cooperation, because sometimes we could not understand each other because we lack of communication and we lack of sharing the knowledge and the principle that we practice in Harrison County, but throughout the state of Indiana and the other places too, so that we can know that we are the same.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now I have a technical question here. When he speaks at that...
Neil Kent, I'm the pastor at the Corydon Christian Church, Disciples of Christ.
I'm Bruce Burton, and I'm a family doctor here in Corydon.
I'm Howard Saylor. I'm the neighbor of Mrs. O'Badden.
My name is Brett Berry. My Dharma name is Tan Tom, and I am a disciple of Thich Nhat Hanh.
I'm Joanne Bush, and I'm a neighbor of the O'Bannon Hotel. I'm Missy Bush Sawtell, and I'm a neighbor. Sunny Bush Sawtell, I'm a neighbor too.
I'm Randy Britton. I'm with the Indiana State Police.
Jonathan Swain with Mrs. O'Bannon's office.
And I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I am Juan Lemon, here in Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm here, Paul. I live in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a member of Hamburg.
My name is Randy West, and I'm the editor of the Corydon Democrat newspaper here in Corydon.
Wayne Willis, I'm the minister of the Corydon Presbyterian Church.
You're here. Well, this is, yeah.
Yeah, please, while we have discussion, have yourself with the refreshment and green tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
You know, the first cultural question we have is, what do we do with our tea bags? That's a practical thing, isn't it? What is the custom?
Actually, somehow we have the mixed custom. You can say that you can take the way that you used to take. So
We can leave it in or take it out?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Oh, well.
I just asked that 10 minutes ago.
Oh, did you? All right. If I'd whispered in your ear, I could have found out more discreetly, couldn't I? Well, and we're very fortunate to be meeting here right now. And one of the things that intrigued me the most about you as a gathering group is that you decided early on to talk to each other. And I have a bit of an understanding that a lot of that came from a practice that was among your church, the Presbyterian Church, of that. Would you?
Well, after 9/11, when the feelings here in America were so strong and so high against Arabs and Muslims, the Presbyterian Church in the United States hosted a series of listening sessions, and they brought from India, in our case, a Muslim, a Christian, and a Hindu leader who had worked together in India ecumenically. And we saw that opportunity at the Corydon Presbyterian Church and invited them to come and we would host one of the listening sessions. So we sponsored that session, and the day that they came, I think about 25 members of our church came, and about 50 members of the community came. And I think I speak for everyone, all went away feeling that we had made some headway in understanding each other and seeing each other as fellow human beings trying to figure out the right thing to do. And out of that, we thought, since we had some neighbors who were Buddhists, that we would, on our own, host our own listening session just for Buddhists and Christians. So we invited Ting Han Dat and some of his Buddhist disciples to come to our place and speak to a combined adult Sunday school class one Sunday morning. And about 60 members of our church came and sat at their feet and listened to them, and they listened to us. And then we hosted another listening session for the community, and we invited them in, and about 100 people came, about 30 from our church, and about 30 Buddhists, and about 30 from this region. And we introduced it by saying the scriptures say, "Come, let us reason together." So here we are. And we just think that has helped us understand them and them understand us. And they're our neighbors, and it's our business to be friendly to our new neighbors.
Now, how many, Dr. Burt, you found that enlightening, or you learned new things? What were some of the thoughts that you came away from?
From the listening session with the Buddhists?
Yes. Did you go to the first one they had?
Went to both of them.
What,
Yeah.
Tell us, what intrigued you about that?
Well, first of all, the idea of having Buddhists in Harrison County, to me as a newsman, is newsworthy. This was kind of shocking to a lot of people. But what I find out is I'm interested in their faith and their religion, their lifestyle. And you begin to see that a lot of the things that they're striving for is exactly what Christians are striving for. Loving each other, having compassion, being tolerant, tending to people who are down and out. There's so many similarities between Buddhism and Christianity. To me, it was fascinating that a lot of Christians...
And how did you feel when they said, come and talk with us?
First of all, I think that's wonderful for us because I know that I came from Vietnam, but I've been here for almost 20 years already. But especially as a Buddhist monk in the Oriental tradition, most people in this area feel that I'm a stranger. So it's really wonderful for me that someone from the other tradition to invite us to share our experience. Because that is the thing we really like to do, to eradicate some kind of doubts and misunderstanding about Buddhism. Because if you read some Buddhist textbooks or study some Buddhist philosophy, you see that throughout more than 25 centuries, our Buddhist people, we always live up to the Buddha's teachings. The most important thing. So I mentioned many times as we in Buddhist tradition, we live up with that compassion together with non-violence regardless the situations. Because we view that everyone as our brother, sister, mother, and fathers. So there's no way for us to fight or being hostile to each other. That is a thing we learned and put in practice in our daily life. So basically, we really like that the other people extend their warm welcome to us, so that we can have the chance to share our principle and practice, especially in this community.
I think the first time I knew you were moving might be questioning things, and that you were open to discussion and interested in it. I'm interested that you called them listening sessions. As a doctor, Bruce, you know what listening is about. How do you feel about the listening sessions?
I was very impressed with the turnout, for one thing. I was impressed by the number of Buddhists that turned out. For one thing, it showed me what a large community you had. It seemed like they were coming from all over, not just from this area, but there were more Buddhists there at the Presbyterian Church than there were, I think, Christians. The discussion, I thought, went very well. It was intriguing that the Buddhist that led the discussion was a former Methodist, which is what was part of our tradition, and that made the transition very easy and made the dialogue very easy because this particular person, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but he was from California. He was able to talk with experience from both sides and with feeling, not just the knowledge but the feeling, and you really felt like there was more similarity than there was differences. And I felt a sense of gratitude that you're here, and I've always been, I was just curious to be there, and thought that, well, I may never get a chance to go to Southeast Asia and travel there. That's quite a long way. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. If I did go there, I would want to meet Buddhists and try to understand them better. But you can't do that in a vacation or just a short trip. So this is so neat that you're here and that we've got a chance to become friends and really get to know each other. So.
Now, Howard, when you went and you came back and told Frank and me that you'd gone, and that you thought,
up here to the meeting.
yes,
Go to the open house.
no, but you came to, or you didn't go to the dialogue. You came here when you had an open house. Well, okay, we'll talk to you about the open house in a minute. Let's talk. Discussed at that what each of you, sort of what different groups believed, and then you also did the listening. How did that telling about the faith that different people had experienced, and then also listening, how did that work?
So I remember the meeting. A good deal was said by Reverend Hamshur about Buddhism. I didn't recall hearing too much from the Christians. What I appreciated was the opportunity to learn more about Buddhism. And I really appreciated it when Thich Dot said something similar to what he said earlier here, that he viewed his neighbors as members of his own family. I was heartened to hear that, and would hope that the members of the community would view him in a similar fashion. I thought the meeting was helpful. It was interesting to hear. I'm not saying that the Christians didn't talk. It was interesting to hear some of the opinions and some of the thoughts of other people present. I remember one instance. You had some guests with you. Two of them had served in the Army in South Vietnam, and there was another fellow who was a native here who had fought in the war in Vietnam. I can't recall exactly what he said, but it was powerful for him to stand up and talk about his experiences, knowing that two of the fellows that came with Thich Dot served in the South Vietnamese Army. I don't know what more to say.
So who else was at people who had lived in Harrison County, had been part of faith-based groups here, did sort of, they got up and said what they were used to or what they believed. Is that correct?
There was one lady at the meeting who stood up and talked about Jesus Christ giving his life for us all, and that this was her faith, and I wasn't sure how she was, or what exactly, I wasn't sure what her motivation for doing so was, but I felt that the response given by Reverend Hamshur was very good. That you know, as a Buddhist, he appreciates the willingness of somebody to give their life for other people, and he seemed very appreciative of the Christian point of view and of the lady's faith, and I don't know. It felt after Hamshur had spoken to in response to this woman. It felt good. It felt, I didn't feel, I was afraid there was going to be some tension, but I felt that there was an ease. I don't know if the lady who spoke felt that same ease, but I felt it.
How did they?
I was anxious initially, just as Neil was, that this was going to become a evangelism opportunity for this woman, but she really had a very sweet spirit. She just felt obligated to stand up and say what she believed. There wasn't anything judgmental or condemning about it. She just felt the obligation to say her piece. And she did it in a very sweet, kind, hospitable way.
You know, when I moved to Harrison County some 30 years ago, I thought everybody here was related to each other. They all they just look at me. But we didn't have people whose palates were used to it. Are you waving your hand to say something?
About 5 minutes.
Oh, well, yeah, we need to get on beyond, I mean, 5 more minutes.
Well, when I came here, I got here late to start out with, because it was about an hour's difference, I think, what the time said in the paper. So.
Don't get that on camera, Howard. All right.
That's the way it was.
Okay.
Well, I came here then, but first thing was pulling your shoes off outside. That was unusual. I was in Korea, so I know what the customs are. So, but what impressed me was when we were inside the dialogue, and there was, I don't know what they call a priest or what you were doing. You had them all on their knees in here, was praying or something. But I didn't understand what was going on. But I thought that was impressed by the color of the robes and stuff like that, and also going from here down to the road, the people, we drove out, and the people were marching with their hands pressed like that, and kneeling down and kissing their, all the way out here. I said, I can't believe in this place like this, you know. It was so humble-like, you know, and that was really impressive.
Now, and Howard, you come from a Catholic background
Catholic,
with a lot of ritual.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? You said there was a lot of ritual. I know you came home and told us about the walking, about the humbleness of folks, and about the kissing of the earth. Let's talk a little bit about that. I read in some background information. You hadn't originally planned to come here. You had another place in mind, but something about it gave you a sense of you had an affinity with the place and the land. What is there in Buddhism that connected you with this place, and something that Howard saw in a ritualistic expression with the kissing of the land? What about that?
At the beginning, I left my master temple in northern part of California and stayed in Los Angeles area. You know, that is the big city. So for me, because I'm a monk, I like to do meditation to calm my mind down. So after staying there for 2 years, I decided that it's not the place for me to stay, especially in the city. Too much noise for me. So I went to Texas to look for the land, and felt that I could not find any suitable place for me to stay. And went to South Carolina for more than 2 months, and I searched for more than 100 places, but no place suitable for my needs. And somehow, some of my Buddhist friends and disciples, they invite me to come to this area. I mean, that's southern Indiana area. They first invite me to stay in Louisville area because we have 2 Vietnamese temples over there. And also, I feel that I like to stay in the secluded place, especially the forest, hillside, a mountainside, so that I can enjoy the nature. So finally, when they got here,